Hey, it's Doris with All the Books. Happy Friday. It's a very happy Friday for me. We are home from school today. We're off for Easter weekend, so yay. It's raining again this weekend though, so that's fine. I am just suffering from a profound sense of lethargy from this rain. Um, so I'm forcing myself to make this video. I just wanted to sit in my chair and read. That's not a bad thing, but I just want to accomplish a couple tasks today. So I'm going to film my Friday reads, and then I'm going to break in my new tennis shoes that I got this morning. I went to the chiropractor too, so I did accomplish one task. I'm going to make this video, that's 2, and I'm going to get on the treadmill with my new running shoes, that's 3, and then I think I'm just going to let myself sit in the chair and read the rest of the afternoon. So let's talk about the reads, shall we? Shawn and I finished the Lydia Steptoe stories by Juna Barnes this past week, and both of us were delighted with it. We've put together a fun little chat video if you want to check it out, if you haven't thus far. No spoilers, just a fun talk between friends. So I will link that below for you. And then another fun talk between friends. I read Year of Wonders by Geraldine Brooks. I read this with Natalie from my reading days, Britta Bowler, Amy Poole, and Jacqueline from 6 Minutes for Me. We read this together and had a good time discussing it. Now, this is set in the Middle Ages, 1666. But unlike most plague stories, this is a plague story. And unlike most plague stories, this one takes place in a small community, kind of in the mountains, sort of, I guess. Whereas most plague stories are in big cities. I am just fascinated by plague stories, either fictional or nonfiction, for whatever reason. So I was very hyped to read this one. And I was thoroughly immersed in Geraldine Brooks' writing style from page 1. I absolutely love the way she writes. It's very, she paints a scene extremely well, extremely well. I appreciated this book for the first, I would say, 2/3, but the end of it kind of fell apart. I got whiplash, actually. She jumps from a historical fiction novel about the plague, and then it just suddenly morphs into kind of a horror drama. Yeah. And then the next chapter, you're in heavy duty romance scene, and then she tries to dabble with theology and doesn't quite hit that mark. So yeah, the ending was wanting. But like I said, her writing style was superb for me. So I'm really looking forward to reading some more of her works. I have March, which is about the Civil War in the U.S., focusing on the dad from the Little Women story, and she won the Pulitzer for that one. And then I have People of the Book, which may be set in Australia. I'm not 100% sure of that. Geraldine Brooks herself is an Australian-American author. She's an Australian living in the United States, but she was born and raised and went to university in Australia, so I think. But anyway, several people recommended People of the Book to me when I read The Weight of Ink a couple years ago and loved it. So really looking forward to reading more from Geraldine Brooks, even though, I totally enjoyed reading this one, but the end was not super satisfying, but really good book nonetheless. And then I finished The Songs of Trees, Stories from Nature's Great Connectors by David George Haskell. I read The Unseen World with Heidi from my reading life last year, and as soon as this one came out, we were both dying to read it. He is such a phenomenal nature writer. He writes pretty high level biology, but his writing style is so literary. It is absolutely gorgeous. And I appreciate that he doesn't dumb down the science, but I think he delivers it in such a way that it's very accessible for anyone. But this book, I was expecting hardcore nature writing, and it is that, but his specialty is, as he says, making connections. So this book is written at the intersection of environmentalist issues and socioeconomic issues with people, and it is just mind-blowing. He is a brilliant man. The things he thinks about and the connections he makes are just, they tug at my heartstrings. Nonfiction nature writing, but if you like Barbara Kingsolver and want to take it a little more nonfiction into the sciences, David is your guy. I love this. I loved him so much. I found him on Twitter, and I'm a groupie now. I also got on the hype train with Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I really enjoyed The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo when it came out, and I just could not, after listening to everyone raving about this book and knowing that I loved her previous one, I had to go ahead and do it. And I thoroughly enjoyed this. Highly entertaining read. I don't think I need to say anything about it. It's all over BookTube right now. But yes, I definitely enjoyed it. I didn't 100% gel with all of the morality in this book, but I don't have the morals of these particular rock stars from the 70s, so that's fine. It was a story, and I was entertained, and thoughts were provoked, so good read there. And now, what I've got on the move at the moment, another entertaining read for me, Rich People Problems by Kevin Kwan. This is the final in the trilogy, and I just love this trilogy. It's just really entertaining for me. This one focuses on the grandmother, who is the matriarch in this family group dynamic, and it's just over the edge, just way out there with the wealthy, but told in not a poor me look at our problems way, but in a really cute, quirky, humorous way. But you really, I really am engaged with these characters and care about them, and I'm glad I found that series. I am also reading Ceremony by Leslie Marmon Silko. I'm buddy reading this with Yamini from The Skeptical Reader, and I've read about 50 pages thus far, and it's super, super interesting. The writing is very lyrical. It's written in a stream of consciousness way, kind of a fever dream-esque. You're jumping around between his time in World War II. He was a Japanese prisoner of war. His time growing up, he grew up as a mixed race, Native American and white, on a reservation out west. And then you're also jumping with some modern times in that area as well. And you never not quite know where you are until you figure out that he's transitioned to a new place. But he's got some really profound thoughts in here thus far, and dealing with post-traumatic stress syndrome, which is not called that yet in this book. This was written in, I believe, 77, so it's going by a different name. I don't remember what that is at the moment, but yeah, I'll report in more of this probably next week, because like I said, it's early on for me with that one. I'm also still working on Kristen Lavransdatter by Sigrid Undset. This is a Norwegian female Nobel Prize winning author. I think first saw this on Petra Yu's channel. She really enjoyed it, and then Britta read it with her Nobel Prize series a couple months ago. So this is actually 3 books in one bind up. So I'm almost done with the second book in the series, and then I'm reading this with Ange from Beyond the Pages. So we may take a break and then finish the 3rd one next month. I'm not sure, but really enjoying the historical setting of this one, and because I know nothing. We think we have Norwegian heritage in my family, and you know, I don't know much about all of that history, so this is really neat. And then I picked up P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han. This is the second in the series. I ranted about this last month when the romance left me on a cliffhanger, so now I have part 2, courtesy of my high school library. I thought this would be fun to dive into over Easter weekend. I think I'm going to dive into this when I get off the treadmill. And then I also need to start A Place for Us by Fatima Farheen Mirza. This is the last of my BookTube prize for round 2. I finished Fruit of the Drunken Vine a week or so ago. Can't talk about either of these, but I would like to say a big thank you to Robert from Barter Hordes for organizing this prize judging concept here on BookTube. It has been such a delight picking up books that I wouldn't have necessarily grabbed myself. This one I actually already had on my shelf, but some of the others I've liked and not liked, but it's just such a rewarding experience, and I highly recommend you all join in next year if you're interested. But yeah, that's what I've got going. So yay, 2 things accomplished today. On to number 3, and then I'm just gonna read the rest of the afternoon. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye.